Last time we stopped at style sheet. We did our internal style sheet. So now we want to go to external style sheet. So how do we go about external style sheet? Like I explained earlier on, external style sheet is when you write your CSS in a separate file, in a file named .css. Then you now attach it to your HTML in order to make everything work. So let's start that. So now to make our folder more organized, I'm going to create a folder. Inside this folder, I'm going to call it CSS. Then inside my CSS folder, I'm going to create a new file. You can call it any name you like, any name. So I'm going to call this one, let me just call this one style.css. So our HTML has .html extension, but for CSS we have .css extension. So it's going to be style.css. So here, if I come in here now and I said okay, I say okay, color equals to red, and font size equals to, let's say, 40 pixels. If you notice, when I came in here, I don't have to write any style, opening style or closing tag of style here, because using .css made the system recognizes that this particular file actually is an external style sheet, external CSS. So if I save this now, if I go back to our home page, home page, and I refresh this, nothing is happening. Why? Because we need to attach this file to our HTML. So how do we attach this file to our HTML? So I want you to pay very, very good attention here. Now you come to your head here. Like I say, preferably I always prefer before the title or after. Anyway, it can be anywhere, but me, I prefer writing before the title so that your code can be well organized. Then you use what we call the link tag. You say link, then you say rel is equals to style sheet. Then the type will be text /css. Don't worry, I will explain. Then your href, I believe you all know href, that's our location. If you notice, we have our style inside a folder called css, css/style.css. Then close our folder. Okay, now what do I mean? Okay, link. Link shows that we're about to link an external sheet. Then rel is okay. This attribute name a relationship of link document to the current document. The attribute must be a space separated list of link. Okay, I don't want to bore you with English. It's just trying to tell us, okay, the stuff we're trying to link to is a style sheet. That's the relative part. Now the type. What does this thing we are linking to contain? It contains text and CSS. Why do we say text and CSS? We'll get there. We'll get to a point where we have to write comments inside our style sheet. Then href, where is the location? Where is it stored? It's stored in the same folder called CSS, then slash another folder called CSS, then style.css. That's the name of the file. So if I save this and come to our browser and I refresh, okay, nothing is happening. Let's see why nothing is happening. Let's see what happened. Probably we made a mistake somewhere. That's why we're not getting what we're supposed to get. I can't find. This is good because you're going to experience a lot of bug while writing your code. You're going to make a lot of mistake. So it's better we learn how to make mistakes now and correct them. Let's go back to our browser and refresh and see what's happening. Okay, in a situation like this, when you have an error, I don't know exactly what is happening. I'm trying to see why our style sheet is not linking. So let me just look for the error. I'll be back. Okay, we made a mistake. We're not supposed to put a slash here. You see, that's why it's good to make errors now, so that you get to see a lot of funny errors that you make and that can make your code not to run. So if I remove this, since the folder is inside the CSS, this main CSS folder, now we have CSS folder, we have another CSS folder in it. Okay, don't worry, I'll change not to confuse us. To make everything a bit easier, I'm going to change some folder structure. So if we come here now, if we refresh, we have our hello, this is a paragraph. Okay, let me do something so I will not get confused. Let me rename this our folder. This is our CSS folder. Let me rename it to let me just rename it to CSS projects. CSS projects. Okay, sorry, it actually opened. What should I do? I have to close everything. Let me close everything. I have to close this. I have to close this. Go back to style sheet. Then go there. Then right click. Then rename. Okay, now it's okay. So let's go back to let's open our editor, and let's go back and select CSS project. So index is still the same thing. Okay, now let's see more. So I just don't want these two names to clash. Let's see more. Let's go into our style sheet. Okay, let's say let's give a background color of blue to this, and when we come to, let's open our folder. Okay, so we have a background color of blue. Okay, our next topic will be comments. How do we comment in CSS? What do I mean by comment? It's a very good programming practice for you to learn to comment. So if you're able to comment your code, if another developer, anything could happen. You could leave the job. It could even be your personal project, and probably you fall sick and you need somebody to take over the job for you. You need another developer to continue writing the code for you. At this point, the code might have gotten so much that the developer doesn't understand every line. So how do you get to make it simple for the other developers? Just make sure you comment the code. When you comment your code, it makes it extremely easy for other developers to read and know exactly what this line is doing. Not even other developers. If you're a software developer, you're a programmer, you're a web developer, you've written a lot of codes, you've written a lot of applications, and one day you just stumbled on an old application, you want to recycle it. You might not remember what you wrote there again because it's been a while, it's been a long time. You've written countless number of codes after them. So the best way you could just do this is, if there's a comment there, you could remember, okay, this is what this particular line is doing. Okay, let's take a look at how to write comments. Now, if I want to comment this now, I want to show that, okay, this particular line is taking care of paragraph. You can just come here, then you put a slash, asterisk, you say, okay, this is paragraph styling. Now, this will not show on your, this will not show on your web page, but only for somebody that have access to this editor will be able to see this. Let's check it out. Let's refresh. It's not showing here, but to make the person understand that, okay, what you're trying to do there is you're trying to create a style for paragraph. So we have a lot of things, a lot of properties that we'll be dealing with in CSS. We have a lot of them and they have different value. So let's start. We've known the color now. Color is meant to assign text to color to text, and background color is to assign backgrounds, and we have the font size for us to change the font size of any form of text. So let's here when we're writing our color, we used the red. We have different ways. We have what we call the RGB, we have the X. So let's take a look at the RGB. The RGB, if you want to give a color, let's say you want to give a background color in RGB. RGB means red, green, and blue. That means you'll be providing a particular portion of red, a particular portion of green, and a particular portion of blue. Let's give it a test. Look at this. If I say RGB, can you see red, green, and blue? So I could say, okay, for red, I want the highest is always 255. I want 255 of red, I want 0 of green, and I want 0 of blue. You see we are having 100% red here. Please, I want us to pay close attention here. You see we are having 100% of red. That is the mixture. We are trying to mix our colors here. So I have the highest portion of red, little of blue, none of blue, and none of green. But let's assume I say, okay, I want 255 of blue, 255 of 255 of blue, 255 of green, so, 255 of red, 255 of green. At the same time, I also want 255 of green. So I have them at the highest level. If you have at this point, we're going to get white. Why are we getting white? If you take a red color and you shade it down to the highest, as in you fade it to the highest, and same to blue, same to green, you're going to get white. So if I come here now and I refresh our page, we have white background. That's why it's not showing. Okay, let's try out another one. Let's say we have 0 of this, 0 of this, and 0 of this. That equals what? Black. So you need to be creative in mixing your colors. Let's have 35 of this. Let's have 10 of this. Let's have 0 of this. We're still gonna have a kind of shades of black. You're gonna have shade of black. Let's have like let's say we have 230 of this, and we have 130 of this, and we have, let's say, 150 of this. You see we're having a different color. If I choose to say, okay, we have 100 of this, we have a different color. So it's just mixing of colors. You could try this yourself. Just give parameters for red, parameter for green, parameter for blue, and you're able to get your color. Let's check this out and see if this is working. So that's the effect of RGB. Now we have another one we call RGBA. Now RGBA color values are extension of RGB color with an alpha channel. So the alpha channel, what does the alpha channel do? The alpha channel is like the opacity. What do I mean by opacity? Is the aspect that makes the color a bit transparent. Now, if you notice we have RGB, if I put A here, that means there's one more value for me to put, an alpha value. So the highest you can have for an alpha value most times is just 1. So if I put, let me say I put alpha value can take decimal. You can take from 0.1 to 1. So 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, by 0.5. If I save this, if I go back to my terminal, if I refresh, you will notice this particular background color is transparent. You could see what we have behind. Okay, let me make it a bit easy. Okay, now let's take care of one tag. Let's use the body tag. Remember, the body tag in your HTML is this particular tag that encapsulates the whole body, that encompasses the whole body. So if you do anything to the body tag, it will affect the whole page. So if I come here and say the body tag and I say, okay, background color of okay, let's use RGB here. So we want red, green, blue. Let's say we want 250 of red. We want 120 of green. Let's give it like 150 of blue. No, we don't want this color. Let me go. If you're using this kind of editor, sometimes you get color palette like this, so you could just drag and choose colors. You can say this is what it is, and you could use your Google, just say RGB for a particular color, and you get it if you want to. Now if I come here and refresh now, if you notice, like I said this is a bit transparent. Can you see? We can see a bit of the background. Okay, let's make it a bit more. Let's come this way. I think because the color looks a bit alike. Let me come in here. and you can see transparent. That's what you can see. The color is different. The color we had here is kind of a bit dark, but because it's transparent, that's why we could see the brown underneath. So that's the difference between RGB and RGBA. RGBA uses an alpha that give a kind of transparency. So let's see this. If I put 0.8, you will see it's still transparent. It just, the more it goes, the thicker it becomes. So now let's talk about the X colors. So I don't like making long videos, but this should be a bit long. Now the X color is different. It's the same thing as the RGBA, but this time around we are writing them using the hexadecimal value. Before we're not using the hexadecimal value, we are using our Unicode 255 from 0 to 255. That was the value we're using. Now I want to use our hexadecimal value. That for you to write a color, you proceed with hash. Then remember we have red, green, and blue. Then we use number of red we want, number of green one, number of blue. You can check out hexadecimal on your Google just to understand how hexadecimal work. We have from 1 to F. So I could say, okay, I want 55 of red, and F, that's the maximum level of green, then 12 of blue. Okay, so this is the color we're generating. I believe you can just check out your hexadecimals. You have a better understanding about this. So let's move on to the next one. Also, the same thing applies to our background color. You will use any form of color for it. So let's talk about background itself. Background is beyond just color. We have other things that we can use with the background. We have a lot of things. We have background image. We have so many things. We have background attachment, background position, background repeat that we can use with the background. So let me use this as an example. Okay, let me stop here. The video is getting too long. Let me stop here. So we know in our next video we'll take over the background and some other attributes. This is CSS. We cannot exhaust all the attributes. There are so much, but I'm going to take the important ones. Then you can just look around and catch up. And the more you use it, the more you get to know there are a lot of attributes available. Yeah, thank you very much. See you